Hey, Guy, how's Easter?
I see you got that looks like a peep. Is that correct?
I'm eating the Peeps right now. Peeps, by the way. It's
Is
kind
that
of
your is that your Easter candy of choice? Is a peep a brand name of just a marshmallow covered in sugar, effectively?
it's an invitation for my dentist to call me up and tell me to come right in even during difficult times because my teeth are falling out as we speak. Let's do it. Let's talk more about candy later. But thinking about it in that context, how about fourth strategists on the street today after a 25% move, almost straight higher in the markets, telling you everybody back in the pool, despite the fact that there's a Baby Ruth in there, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Well, a Baby Ruth, or if I may use the word, a turd in the pool. And unfortunately, I think it's not a Baby Ruth in the market pool, but it is a turd in the pool. So it's amazing to me, and I think we talked about it earlier, that these four analysts come out and effectively giving the all clear sign in different ways. I just don't see it, and I want to be optimistic, and I want to believe what they're saying. I'm hard pressed to believe that this 25% rally off the lows, seemingly in the same amount of time it took us to go down that amount, it means that everything is all clear, and that turd is actually a Baby Ruth. By the way, I was always a fan of the Baby Ruth.
I thought you were going to say I was always a fan of Maggie O'Hooligan, who
Right,
was
who never was seen
the
again
chick
after
in
that. Right,
Caddyshack.
who was never seen again. Although Lacey Underall, as you
None,
know,
I actually thought Lacey Underalls was actually Michelle Pfeiffer for a long time until, I mean, obviously a fan of both. And by the way, on Maggie, are you aware that Maggie O'Hooligan, which is a fantastic name, she was the 13-year-old chick getting wheeled around in the
yes,
shopping cart in
yes,
Animal House.
in Animal House, absolutely.
I mean,
She had pulled the toilet paper, the tissue out of her breast. 100%. I knew that.
Clorette DePasto
That's a
was
great call.
and she had two of the greatest roles for two of the greatest, at least, movies of all time that we continue to rewatch and kind of sadly defined a lot of the humor of our teenage and college years.
And then she basically went into obscurity. So I guess to stay with that theme, is the market destined to go into obscurity over the next couple of months, or are these analysts right? What do you think?
I think the analysts are right on some level in that systemic concerns have at least been alleviated a little bit. Look, I've been somewhat constructive for the last couple of weeks. And so for me to suddenly say, boy, this is crazy, how could they, would be disingenuous. But it's difficult for me to now get bulled up because I guess I have trouble seeing equities get away from us here. And so I understand that, and anecdotally also, if you think about it, and I remember this just from my hedge fund manager's hat, where you have job mortality, where your job's on the line, is not necessarily losing money on the way down. It's actually not being in the market on the way up. And I'm not so sure that that's exactly what went on here. I know this is a big thing for money managers, but I think a lot of these folks have missed this rally. And I think this is part of the bullishness here. And frankly, are running the risk of I think trying to push a little too hard, because I think we could still see some consolidation here. I don't know your thoughts.
No, I think the point you're making is if the market were to go down now, there are no real negative ramifications to any of these analysts for being early. However, if this thing were to continue on its trajectory higher and they're not there, there's huge implications, to your point, professionally for them. So I think they're doing that calculus. And I'll use the word you just used. I don't think they're trying to be disingenuous, but I think they're trying to be ahead of something. And, maybe they will wind up being right. For the life of me, I can't see a scenario where there's not at least some more turbulent waters. I mean, the VIX closed lower today, which is a good sign.
Right.
But it's still 42. I mean, we're still talking about a VIX at 42 that if you'd said that 3 months ago, people would have said you're absolutely insane.
No, I think there's still a lot of tension in the market, and I wouldn't put it quite as the same tension that was going on with Danny Noonan and D'Annunzio
Sure.
before the Caddy tournament. But I have to ask you this: do you play much golf?
No, but I will tell you that if you were to ask me who I'd rather be, Noonan or D'Annunzio, I mean, it goes without saying. Because
Yeah.
D'Annunzio, he was very long off the tee, if you recall.
I don't know if that's a metaphor for anything either, but
No,
look,
he was just very long off the tee. There's no metaphor there.
my guess is you would be, kind of pulling on a tight leather golf glove, maybe on both hands, if I had to guess. Just kind of working.
As much as you'd like to believe that, I was never a glove guy on the football field or on the baseball diamond or on the golf course. I like the feel of the bat in my hands, the football on my hands, or in this case, the grips of the club.
Well done. So in terms of gripping onto, that which is, I think, also a way you can trade kind of the streaming market. Roku and Netflix up big today, and needless to say, I've actually got Caddyshack in a hard copy in my library, but I could pull that up at will on Netflix, and I've talked about this too. I don't understand an outperform on Netflix in this environment when the things that were troubling the market and analysts about this stock 9 months ago, which were not only streaming this and that, and I give Reed Hastings a lot of credit because what he's acknowledging there's competition. He's also saying that the move away from linear TV has enough of a wave to lift all boats. And I think that may be fair, but ultimately it really comes down to a valuation for me. And at 48 times forward earnings at a time when their U.S. numbers are saturated. But more importantly, Netflix. Yeah, I know we're staying at home watching more Caddyshack and Animal House, but they're not collecting more money from me, and
no.
I just don't understand this.
No, and listen, I totally get that argument, and it held a lot of water for a long time. I think the flip side of it is, they have first mover advantage. And that first mover advantage is probably a 5 to 7 year advantage over the likes of Disney, for example. And you've seen what Disney can do. In my opinion, at a certain point, it's zero sum. I don't think we're there yet. If you're talking about absolute levels in Netflix, you go back and look at 385 level was a level we had a lot of trouble with a couple times, backing away. I think the all-time high of 415 in July of 2018. I think the stock is headed there. I get the fundamentals don't make sense, but I think there's some momentum right now, especially in light of what's going on. And I'll add this. My daughter, my wife, and I got hooked. She said, you got to watch this Tiger King or Tiger Paws.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
It's crazy. It's must-watch TV.
Crazy. I don't talk to me.
You should do yourself a favor. Download or go to the Netflix and watch the Tiger King, and you won't be disappointed. You will find yourself unable to stop watching.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that kind of a lead in, I'm hooked. Give me on the way out here, because we can also put a trade into this. Top 3 candy bars of all time for you. I mean, not Baby Ruth, maybe one of them. I doubt it, but.
So I'm on a desert island, and I need to have 3 candy bars. That's it. A Kit Kat from Europe because the chocolate is different. A Twix, and I'm going to throw a sleeper at you if you're ready for this. The Charleston Chew.
Interesting. What's interesting about both the Twix and the Charleston Chew is they probably need to be frozen, which you're not going to be able to do on a desert island. In fact, you're going to be looking for something to keep them out of the sun. But I respect the Charleston Chew. All right, you're going to check this out. So first of all, I'm coming out of the gates simply with a Mounds bar. And at times, I would go to the Bounty bar and whatnot. Definitely not the Almond Joy because I don't really like to mix. My number 2 candy bar is the Nestle Crunch, and not what was the one by Hershey's in the red wrapper? I think that was I don't know.
$100,000 bar.
It was a bootleg Nestle Crunch, and I didn't like it so much. Here's my number 1 candy bar. This is gonna crackle with a K. Crackle with a K. Number 1 candy, Desert Island Surprise, the Reggie bar. It's everything against what I want to say as a Met fan, but that was a good candy bar. And I don't know what happened to it because, frankly, the candy bar on some level outlived Reggie's stay in New York. And there was a lot of caramel in the middle that was kind of like a round patty of Baby Ruth.
If you recall, the day they gave away Reggie bars at the old Yankee Stadium, everybody in attendance threw their Reggie bar onto the field. I think that's all you need to know, Tim.
Well, with that, let's throw it back out there till tomorrow. Good to see you, guy.
Talk to you later, brother.